Hello, everybody. Good evening. Dr. Tabor Smith here. Welcome to the Get 15 Pounds Healthier in 15 Weeks workshop. Hope you're all doing great this evening. If you're not familiar with the software we use for these workshops, there should be a area below this video that you could comment, say hi, feel free to ask questions as we go through here. Let us know where you're listening from. Laureen is from Vancouver. Audio, video are good. Thank you. You're on top of it. I greatly appreciate that. That is so awesome. All right. Anybody else out there? Say hello. Say hello. And where are you from? I am going to go ahead and start the slides here. We're going to jump right into this workshop so we're not wasting any of your time. Get 15 pounds healthier in 15 weeks. This workshop is exactly what the title says there. It is not a weight loss workshop. It is a get healthy workshop. And sometimes that means that our weight changes, but we want to get healthy because healthy comes in all shapes and sizes. Have you guys heard of the body types? There's ectomorph, there's mesomorph, there's endomorph, there's combinations of the two, ectomorph, mesomorphs. And so different people are shaped differently. We're going to talk about that, but the key here is we don't want a lot of excess body fat because that's not healthy. Debbie from Houston, thanks for being on. Candace in Atlanta, hey Candace, hope you're doing well. Thanks for being here. In fact, we understand, I show this, almost every workshop that we do, but there's a paradigm here, and we're going to talk about that. And there is this continuum of wellness. You are somewhere on this continuum right here. There's neutral right in the middle. Your high level of wellness is as we're going to the right of your screen there. And then sickness starts with signs and symptoms, and then disabilities, and unfortunately leads to premature death. We want to be on the right side of this health continuum. I'm going to show you how to get there and some actions you can take to make sure you're on the right side. Now, this wellness paradigm here, this wellness continuum you're looking at is actually not even completely accurate. I would say that it should look more like this. Now, if you'll notice the difference, we slanted this arrow a little bit. You know what that means? That means if you do nothing, you will slide down this, this slope faster towards, unfortunately, the premature death, meaning, we're all aging and nobody's making it out of this thing called life alive. So we're constantly moving to the left. It's sliding down that slope. It's a slippery slope depending on the actions that we're taking. If we take the right actions, it's like climbing up that slope, moving to the right. And you've got to take the actions to climb up the slope. You've got to even take some action just to stay where you're at. So tonight, that's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about actions, not just weight loss. Now, again, weight loss could be part of your goals. My question to you is, what is your objective? Is it just to lose weight? Is it just to look at that number on the scale? Or is it to avoid disease? Maybe increase your strength or your speed or your agility, to increase your performance? Is it to increase health and function and live life to the fullest? Is it to create optimal health? Because that's what some of the things that we're going to talk about tonight will help you do, is to create optimal health. What is optimal health? That is improved function. Health is the optimal functioning of your body. So we want your body functioning at tip-top shape. It is increased performance when you do things, no matter what you're doing, playing with your kids, gardening, or going to the gym, or maybe it is sports that you love to do, increasing your performance and also helping you look good. Healthy appearance looks good. We want you to look good. We want you to feel great, and we want you to function even better. In fact, I'll say this: healthy is the new sexy, not skinny, healthy. All right. This is what we're shooting for. Healthy people just have energy, they have vitality, they're fun to be around. It takes your life to the next level when you improve your health. That's exactly what I want to do for you, show you how to do today. And it's not just all me saying this, it's backed up by science. In fact, when we get into our healthy weight, a lot of things in our life change, a lot of things in our body changes. This is coming straight from the journal Circulation, which is one of the hardest publications to get to publish in. It says the present obesity epidemic is both troubling and informative because adiposity is being overweight, is largely caused by poor diet, excess calories, and inadequate physical activity. Emphasis on more downstream risk factors. So, what does being overweight cause? Hypertension or high blood pressure, dyslipidemia, diabetes. It addresses neither the root cause of or obesity nor its full cardiovascular consequences. Meaning, if you're just treating your hypertension, you're just taking insulin for diabetes, you're not changing any other factors, you're really not getting to the root cause of a lot of those diseases. This was in the Journal of Applied Physiology. Says an abundance of evidence suggests that lifestyle factors, including exposure to chemical carcinogens, physical inactivity, and diet, play a major role in the development of common cancers. So what I want you to see, look, is changing your diet, changing your lifestyle is not just about losing weight. It's not just about seeing that number on the scale go down. In fact, I want you to actually put less emphasis on the scale. I don't care if you ever step on the scale. It's about being your best self. It's about being here for your family and being able to do the things that you want to do to eliminate some of the leading causes of death, like we're looking at right here, cancer. The current human diet contains a variety of mutagens and carcinogens that lead to the initiation of cancer and other chronic diseases. So when you implement some of the things we're going to talk about tonight, you're not only going to get healthier by getting your healthy weight, you're going to be able to feel better and just be better and express health better through your body. Another one published in Clinical Diabetes. The prevalence of overweight U.S. adults has increased dramatically during the past 30 years, with type 2 diabetes representing what is perhaps the most serious obesity-related consequence. Nearly 90% of individuals with type 2 diabetes are overweight. In fact, this is why they changed it. It used to be called adult onset diabetes. But now we're seeing younger and younger, even kids that are developing type 2 diabetes because they're so overweight that they had to change it from adult onset diabetes, the name, to type 2 diabetes. And so this is what I want you to think. And obesity, that word, if we're not obese, we sometimes, say that doesn't apply to me. But let's talk about not just obesity, but just having too much excess body fat. All right. Downstream conditions of having excess body fat could be heart disease, diabetes, and cancer. So some of the things, I hope this just motivates you a little bit more to implement some of the things that we're going to talk about in today's workshop, because other things that people are doing out there obviously are not working. Those fad diets, not eating, trying to starve yourself, all of those things, they're not working. You might lose a little bit fat in the beginning, but then it just comes right back and sometimes even get worse. In fact, I don't even want you to focus on the adipose tissue or the fat tissue, because I want you to understand fat is just the symptom. It's not the problem. It's the symptom of some of the choices we're making, and also a symptom of chronic hormone imbalance. So adiposity, you hear me say that term, several times. Adipose tissue, adiposity basically just means extra body fat, is a symptom of chronic hormone imbalance. See, hormones and enzymes regulate your fat storage. So you must regain hormone balance. We've got to show you how to balance these hormones through specific lifestyle changes and choices that will directly impact your hormone balance. If you ever want to conquer this weight health issue. Excess fat or adipose tissue causes the perfect hormone storm inside of your body. So yes, number one, it does start with us, the food choices that we make, and unfortunately in our society, we're bombarded with toxic, deficient food choices. It's everywhere. We almost don't know what to choose, what to eat. And most of the stuff that we eat is toxic. There's an energy imbalance already because we're getting all of these calories from toxic foods, but we're also living a sedentary lifestyle. We're not moving. So we have this excess calorie load. And then when you add on top of that, chronic social stress in our environment, and on top of that, a lack of sleep. So we have chronic exhaustion and release of stress hormones. All of that contributes to this hormone storm. So I'm not going to go into details on each one of these hormones, but some of the things that happen is your leptin goes down. So that's an appetite suppressor hormone. So then your appetite goes way up. You're hungry. Your ghrelin goes up, and that actually increases your appetite even more. Stress hormone cortisol is high, and that makes you crave carbs and sugars. And then your body releases insulin. And when I say insulin, I know this is a word that a lot of you have heard of, but I want you to think of insulin as the fat storage hormone. Because when insulin is high in your blood, your body is storing fat. Fat is the energy. In fact, your body's amazing. It's storing that energy for when we use it later. In prehistoric times, we talk also about the Paleolithic times. Back in the day, we didn't have a lot of excess energy. So our bodies became very efficient at storing fat for energy so that we could use it later, because our number one priority is survival. So we need the energy. So our bodies are very smart. It's going to store the energy so that we can survive. Number two is replication or reproduction, right? So our bodies are designed to help us survive and reproduce. That's the main goal our body has. So this is a smart process if you're in an environment like we used to be in, where there's just not a lot of calories around us. Now, how do we regain control of our hormones? This is how we're going to do it. We'll talk deeply more about this in just a second, but we're going to talk about food quality, so natural versus processed. We're going to talk about food quantity, especially with those processed foods that we want to keep down, but healthy foods we want to increase. We want to talk about food rhythms, small, consistent meals, or even 12, 13-hour fasts between our last meal of the day and our first meal of the next day. Number 4, we're going to talk about activity levels. For muscles, if you don't move them, you will lose them. For fat, you must move it in order to lose it. So activity levels definitely makes a difference. We're going to talk about social stress and fight or flight cortisol hormones and how that affects our fat storage. And then we'll talk about a little bit at the end, sleep patterns, because poor sleep is a major risk factor for weight gain and obesity. Now I'm going to take you through, as we're talking about those things I just mentioned in the last slide, I'm going to take you through the 5 dieting lies that people have been told. Number 1, weight problems run in my family. It's all genetics. Number 2, just eat less and you'll lose weight. Number 3, I'll just work it off at the gym. Number 4, calories are calories, right? And number 5, sleep has nothing to do with it. I know you've probably all heard these 5 dieting lies. Let's start with the first one. Weight problems run in my family. It's genetics. Now, I'm going to tell you, genetics play a little bit of a role. We've already talked about that. Body types, right? Endomorph, ectomorph, mesomorph. So genetics plays a bit of a role. But I would say it's actually a third important as far as your environment and your lifestyle. You see this little, see the 3 circles on your screen there? If each one of those circles, one of them was genes, one of them was your environment, and one of them was your lifestyle, then your body composition would be right in the middle of those 3. Now, you don't have a choice about your genes. You don't have a choice on who your mom and dad was, your body type, but your environment is, how stressed are you? Who are you hanging around? What are you doing? What activities are you doing? And What toxins are you exposed to, right? Your lifestyle is, are you exercising? Are you eating right? Are you getting proper nutrition? Those types of things. We'll talk about those, and we can influence our environment a little bit, and we can definitely make the decisions in our lifestyle. That's how we can influence our body composition: genes, environment, and lifestyle. These are the obesity trends in the United States. It is getting, more prevalent and more prevalent as we're going. In 1990, there's only about 0 to 14% of obesity prevalent in our society. In 1998, it jumped all the way to almost 20%. In 2006, it was about 20 to 25%. And now in 2024, it's over 40% of our population in the United States is obese. And being obese, you have to have, I think it is, I could be wrong, but I believe it's 33% of your body fat, or 33% of your body is body fat. Now, people lose weight all the time. I know you probably know people who have done an amazing job of losing weight. This is Kendra. She lost over 100 pounds. My wife, Gina, she lost after the birth of our twins, and she gained a lot of weight. She lost 40 pounds, which is absolutely amazing. And my question to you is, what changed? Was it their genes? If Kendra lost 100 pounds, did her genes change? No, her genes didn't change. But guess what probably changed? Her environment she was in, and also her lifestyle choices. And you're going to hear me say this a lot too: eating, moving, sleeping, and even chiropractic. Changing your environment, changing the relationships, people you're spending a lot of time with. They say that we're the equivalent of the 5 closest friends that we spend our time with, because we start to do activities and do the things that are the people we hang around with do. What strategies do you have and are you implementing, and what choices are you making on a daily basis? That's what's going to affect your body composition. And depending on your whether you're an ectomorph, mesomorph, or endomorph, we want to get you to that healthy composition. Okay, so when it comes to getting 15 pounds healthier, we want to take into consideration this term that I've been using, body composition. This is the amount of lean tissue versus fatty tissue on our body. There's an optimal range. Women have a little bit higher, a little bit more wiggle room, no pun intended, in their body composition, right? But we want to stop looking, we definitely want to start tracking biomarkers, but we want to stop looking so much at the scale. The scale is not as valuable as you think it is. Just because those numbers went down a little bit, it doesn't, or even if they went up a little bit, that doesn't matter. We have, I've talked to people who they've been working out, they've been eating right, their body changed, they're looking good, they're developing all these muscles, and the scale went up 3 pounds. And they were so upset. And I told them, why are you upset about, more muscle on your body? So stop looking at the scale so much. Other things that you can look at that are more important and more meaningful is like a waist measurement. Measure your abdominal measurement. How far around is your waist? If you can actually get your body fat percentage measured, that's the absolute best one. We want to track our body fat percentage. Let's see here. For people aged 20 to 39, women should aim for 21 to 32% of body fat. Men should have 8 to 19. For people 40 and over, it just keeps going up like that. You can actually search these numbers. And again, I don't think these numbers are, written in stone. Everybody has different composition, but this is, if you're going to track something, don't track the scale. Track your body fat percentage, or track your abdominal or your arm measurements. Those things make a bigger difference in numbers that you want to keep track of. Big lie number 2, just eat less and you'll lose weight. This is like saying, just eat less and you'll lose weight is like saying, I need about 20 breaths per minute to survive, but I think I can do it on 14. Not going to be a good choice for you. When you stop eating, you might lose a little weight in the beginning, but your metabolism will change and your body will start holding on to fat even stronger. And that's why you'll end up gaining a lot more weight in the long run. Your body goes into survival mode and then you'll end up, gaining all that weight back. That's why yo-yo diets and starvation diets just don't work. Excuse me. Big lie number 3. Oh, calories are calories. Now, there is some, something to calories in, calories out. We do have to burn the calories with activity, but toxic foods and processed foods and sugary foods, they are empty calories, meaning all you're getting is the storage of fat. You're not getting any nutrition. You're not getting any fiber. You're not getting anything else that's healthy when all you're eating is junk foods or sugars. So calories are not calories. In fact, when it comes to healthy foods like raw fruits and vegetables, I say eat as much as you want to. As much as you want when it comes to especially vegetables. You could eat as much as you want. So pour it in, because the more you get, the more nutrition there is, the more fiber there is, the healthier you're going to be. When it comes to junk food, processed foods, sugars, the more you eat, the more unhealthy you're going to be, and the more you're going to store fat. This, I know a lot of you have seen the food pyramid, and this is the worst advice I believe I have ever been around. My mom, who most of you know if you watched our documentary, my mom passed away at the age of 47. She died of a massive heart attack in the middle of the night. She was told by her doctor that pizza was the healthiest food that you could eat because pizza had all the food groups. It had dairy, meat, and bread and everything on it. That was the worst advice that you could possibly get. So this obesity is the linchpin to chronic disease. This food pyramid, throw it out the window. In fact, what we want to focus on is the hunter-gatherer diet. Paleo diet is my favorite diet out there because it is what humans were designed to eat. It is what our forefathers, thousands of years ago when we were hunters and gatherers, it's what we ate. Excuse me. The modern industrialized human, we eat high refined carbohydrates, so sugars. We don't eat very much fat at all. We don't eat very much protein at all. We eat sugar in everything. In the wild hunter and gatherer, we used to eat high carbohydrates in the forms of plants, but moderate good fats, high proteins, no refined foods, no processed foods, no dairy, and no sugar. And we were the healthiest people back then. Yeah, maybe our life expectancy wasn't as long because if you got a cut on your leg and it got infected, you would die. If you broke your arm, you would die. If you, you could get killed by any type of wild animal out there. So yeah, our life expectancy wasn't as long. We didn't have the medical advancements that we have today to be able to treat wounds and help people extend their life. But we also didn't have these chronic degenerative diseases because we were eating healthy foods. That's the diet that we want to be able to get back to. So poor quality food fells, we want to stay away from toxic choices, deficient choices, and unbalanced choices, because that is going to affect our hormones and what we call the glycemic load. The hormones that we want to focus on are insulin, glucagon, which increases glucose in your blood, and cortisol. Insulin is your fat storage hormone, cortisol is your stress hormone, and glucagon increases sugar in your blood. That's what I want you to think about when it comes to insulin. It's the fat storage hormone. Every time your body releases insulin, and what does it release insulin when you do? When you eat sugar. You release insulin, it locks you into fat storage mode. So we want to reduce our sugar so that we don't have that release of insulin. What causes elevated insulin? Like I said, sugars and refined carbohydrates like fast carbs. Dairy causes increase in insulin. And then we have energy imbalances, like if we're not exercising. We have excess calories, too many calories, and not enough burning of those calories. So our insulin might stay high if we're doing that. Foods that we want to avoid to make sure that our insulin doesn't spike is the foods that are high on what we call the glycemic index. Basically, this just means these foods turn into sugar very fast in your body. It's a lot of your cereals, a lot of your starches, and a lot of your sugars, especially donuts, those types of junk foods. We want to avoid those. In fact, in today's society, over 70% of our food comes from these refined sugars, grains, and vegetable oils and dairies. In fact, over 70% of our food that we're eating today wasn't even in our diet. Like people, there was no way our paleo friends back at thousands of years ago would have ever even seen these foods. It wouldn't have been in their diet. They couldn't get breads or cereals or rices or pastas. They didn't process those types of things. They didn't eat dairy. They didn't eat refined vegetable oils. They didn't drink alcohol back then. They ate healthy meats, but not, fatty meats with cows that are sitting in feedlots. They didn't add salt to everything, and they didn't eat any refined sugars except maybe honey, that is pretty natural as well and healthy for you. In fact, it wasn't even until 1980 that we started seeing this inflection point of people being overweight and having problems with obesity. You can see I put that red arrow there at 1980. That's where these lines come across, and now they start going up. Now, what do you think happened around 1980 that started causing people to be suffer with being overweight? Well, here it is right here. If you look at the red arrow at the bottom that points in 1980 and you go all the way up, we already had hydrogenated oils. We already had refined vegetable oils. We already had refined grains. We already had feedlot produced meats. We already had sucrose. But the one thing we didn't have up there at the top is high fructose corn syrup. High fructose corn syrup came out around 1980, and that's when we started seeing people gaining weight like crazy and having major obesity problems. So sugar can be very addictive. High fructose corn syrup is in basically every soda that's out there. People are drinking their sugars, and it starts to become a substance abuse that we crave it and we need it so much. You know that alcoholics have a problem staying away from alcohol. Well, sugaraholics have a problem staying away from sugar. So that's where our environment comes into play. We want to be able to keep those sugars away out of the house as much as possible. The people we hang around, we want to make sure that they're encouraging us to stay away from the sugar. And then this is a slippery slope. Once we start eating that sugar again, a lot of people are addicted to that, and it'll continue and get worse. So the top 7 dieting pitfalls are right here. Number 1, drinking your calories. We want to stay away from the sodas, stay away from the fruit juices. The fruit juices especially, think about this, like orange juice. Never in nature would you eat that much oranges for the ability to get that much sugar. In fact, I don't know how many oranges a glass of orange juice takes, but I bet it's like 7, 8, 9 oranges just for one glass of orange juice. Even having those oranges in front of you, there's no way you're eating 8 or 9 oranges, because an actual orange has fiber in it, and so it competes with the sugar in your bloodstream. The juice is like taking all the fiber out and just slamming all the sugar in it. So you want to stay away from fruit juices and really not eat too much fruit in our diet. Fruit's good. Fruit's healthy for you. Don't worry about it. I'm not saying avoid fruit. I'm just saying, like, we don't want to just eat only fruit, because there is sugar in fruit. We want to try to avoid dairies. We don't want, all these people say they're vegetarians, which I think is great. I'm sure there's a good way to be a vegetarian. I am not a vegetarian. I always say, you kill it, I'll eat it. But vegetarians, great if you can do that. I do have a high in vegetable diet, but I also add healthy meats to that. Just like in Paleolithic times, we would eat anything that we found as far as foraging, leaves, diet. If we found berries, if we could eat roots, we would do that. And then, but when we got a kill, like an animal, a rabbit, whatever it was, then we ate that healthy meat as well. That's the paleo diet. Grainitarians, I don't think that's great either, because we did not eat a lot of grains back then, and grains turn to sugar very quickly. So be careful what you're snacking on. A lot of people will, they'll come in and they'll tell me, I only eat healthy. I only eat salads all day long. They literally tell me that their diet is perfect. And then they'll turn around and say, yeah, but I did gain 77 pounds, this summer. And I'm like, how do you have a perfect green leafy vegetable diet and gain 77 pounds? You can't. But most of the time it's because we're not really being aware of what we're snacking on. And so we grab those snacks here, we grab them there, and those calories add up. So be careful about that. Post-exercise binging. This is an issue as well. If you're exercising, great, but you don't, we burn 200 calories exercising and then we go reward ourselves with a 700 calorie frappuccino from Starbucks. And that just doesn't, it doesn't add up. And so make sure we're not rewarding ourselves with a lot of junk food all the time. And then skipping breakfast is not a great idea either. You should break your fast. But I will say you need about 13 hours between the last bite that you took the night before and your breakfast. So if you ate you got finished eating at 7 o'clock the night before, then you should eat breakfast about 8 a.m. the next day, if that makes sense. You want about 13 to 14 hours of fast between there. It's scientifically proven that the people who have a long fast are the healthiest. It's healthy for your body. And think about this back in the paleo times. We didn't have a lot of food, or we had to, we ate a lot when we killed an animal, and then we didn't eat again until we found some food foraging or we killed another animal. There was long fasts. So over thousands of years, our bodies developed and were designed to be able to fast over long periods of time. But in today's society, we're stuffing our face every 2 hours with all this food, and our bodies don't have time to digest it all, to clear it all. So the healthiest people have a 13-hour fast between their last meal and their first one, or more. You could actually fast a little bit longer than that sometimes and be fine. So the diet that I recommend is what we call the Paleo Correct diet. It's part of a healthy overall lifestyle. Again, it's basically, in a nutshell, we'll dive into this a little bit, but it's unlimited vegetables. Eat your heart out when it comes to vegetables. Abundant, lean, natural meats. Eat good, healthy meats. Some, now look at that word I used, some fruits, nuts, and seeds. We didn't go crazy on fruits, nuts, and seeds back in the paleo times. If we found them, if it was in season, if you came across a plant or tree that had a couple almonds on it, you ate it, right? But some fruits, nuts, and seeds, and limited starch and almost no sugar at all, except for what we're getting from fruit. That's the Paleo Correct diet. Why paleo? Our genes dictate what our nutrition needs are. And so your genes tell you this is what you were designed to eat. Our genes were shaped over time by environmental experiences. Our genes really haven't changed in over 40,000 years. Like that's been proven. Your genes are the same as our ancestor genes. Up till about 500 generations ago, all humans ate the same diet. We were hunters and gatherers. There's no evidence of our ancestors having degenerative diseases. And the agricultural revolution, as soon as we started farming, that changed all of it. Then especially industrialization, which happened about 150, 200 years ago-ish, that really brought in sugars into our diet. In fact, I read an article that said 200 years ago, the average American or the average person ate 1 pound, I think it was 1 or 2 pounds of sugar per year. So that was all the fruit and everything. So 1 to 2 pounds of sugar per year. Today, the average American eats 152 pounds of sugar per year per person. So what does paleo really look like? We dive in a little deeper. Again, unlimited, non-starchy vegetables, so the good carbs, no refined grains or bad carbs, plenty of fruit and berries, relatively high in animal protein, moderate amount of good fats, high in fiber, high potassium, low sodium, net alkaline load. So overall, we want to be basic, not acidic, and then rich in phytochemicals, vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. Now, I also like this other diet that they call the zone diet. You can look it up. And basically, it's similar to paleo in the food choice options, but it just talks about, what you should be eating, dividing the plate up basically in each one of your meals. They talk about the rule of thirds. You want about 40% of your plate coming from plant carbs, 30% coming from proteins, and 30% coming from fats. So plants, proteins, and fats. And so I want to show you some pictures here where we're going to show some healthy food choices, some healthy dinners, healthy lunches and I want you to look through these pictures and see where the plants, where the proteins, and where the fat, because in these dishes, you're going to see plants, proteins, and fats. So here we go. Healthy breakfast. We've got plants, we've got protein, we've got healthy fat. Eggs are great. Eggs are one of the healthiest foods. And again, this is mainstream. People telling you that eggs are unhealthy, eggs cause heart disease or high cholesterol. Not true. Think about it. Life has been trying to exist off of eggs. I mean, back in the dinosaurs, what did they do? They tried to steal eggs from all the nests. Like, we have literally, we're designed to eat eggs. Every single thing that could support life is inside of that egg right there. One of nature's health foods is the egg. Again, we see proteins, we see fats, and we see plants. Proteins, fats, avocados are great healthy plants. Great healthy plants and great healthy fats. Healthy pancakes with some fruit on top of them there. Here we go is another bowl with protein and fat and plants. Again, we have plants, we have healthy fat. There's some apples in there. There's lettuce, avocado. These are Swedish meatballs, healthy meat. This again, same bowl. Here we go. Salmon on I think almonds and a bed of lettuce, romaine. Super healthy. We got plants, we got fats, and we got protein. Again, plants, fats, protein. All right, so the do's when it comes to our diet. We don't want, the do's are non-starchy vegetables. We want lots of vegetables. Some fruit. We want meat. We want chicken. We want fish. We want range-fed eggs. I always like range-free eggs because those chickens can get out there and eat the bugs and all the good healthy stuff that chickens are supposed to eat. They're not just eating corn, okay? So range-free eggs, natural fats, some nuts and seeds, and we want to drink plenty of water. Don't drink your carbohydrates. Don't drink your sugar. The don'ts. Refined carbohydrates, stay away from them. Cereal grains, stay away from them. Sweeteners are bad. Vegetable oils, no good. What the vegetable oils that are good are like coconut oil, olive oil, I think palm. Yeah, I don't know, but coconut oil and olive oil are two of the healthiest ones. Dairy products we want to try to stay away from as much as possible. Sodas, juices, and alcohol. Oh, olive oil, avocado oil, palm oil, and coconut oils. Those are the good healthy oils. Okay, so we talked about toxic foods. We talked about paleo. That's what we really want to focus on. Nobody's perfect, but that's where we want to try to aim our food choices. Now, secondly, we do have to exercise. We have to move in order to stay healthy. This is not a weight loss thing. This is your body is designed to move. If you have a sedentary lifestyle, it's just a fact. You're not going to be burning the calories. You're not going to be healthy. Your cardiovascular system is going to suffer, and your body's going to sit there and store fat. In fact, this is the human in captivity. We're having to sit for hours and hours and hours. We didn't have our paleo friends didn't do that. Animals out there in the wild, there's no obesity out there in the wild. You put them in the zoo, what happens when they get in captivity? They have a sedentary lifestyle and they start gaining weight. Humans living today inherit a genome that was programmed for daily physical activity and a high fiber diet. So and this has come from the Journal of Applied Physiology. We were designed to eat the foods that we just talked about paleo wise, and we were designed for physical activity. So when we're not doing what we're designed to do, we suffer. We talked about this, what causes elevated insulin already. Sorry about that. Big lie number 4, I'll just work it off at the gym. So although I love the concept of working out, I really enjoy going to the gym, really the weight is lost in the kitchen. All right. Um, there is an energy balance economy. We have very thrifty genes. We have genetics that are designed to help us hold on to those calories. Calories today, like this muffin that you're looking at on the screen, very easy to consume, but very difficult to burn. So you will never out-train a lazy diet. In fact, this is what we say is if you want to create a healthy body, if you want to look good, if you want to lose the weight, abs are made in the kitchen, not in the gym. Now, exercise is important, movement, walking, going to the gym, lifting weights, but it's only about 30% of your body composition. 70% is going to be your diet. So, although I wish this wasn't true, I wish I could eat anything I wanted to and I'll just go work out every day and I'll be perfectly fine. Not going to happen. We have to actually regulate what we put in our bodies. It's even more important than the activity that we're getting when it comes to our weight gain or our body composition. Although movement and exercise extremely healthy and definitely important for you. Exercise is critical in achieving optimal health, correcting metabolic derangement. So it's going to help your metabolism when you start exercising. This was, let's see, where was this published? The Mayo Clinic. This is straight from the Mayo Clinic. Our ancestors exerted themselves daily to secure their food, their water, and their protection. Although modern technology has made physical exertion optional, it is still important to exercise as though our survival depends on it. And in a different way, it still does. Exercise will help you rebalance your hormones. So we talked about this, that fat is just the symptom, that the cause of excess fat is this hormone imbalance that in turn is even caused by some of the choices that we're making. Well, when you start making the choice to exercise, it helps your body rebalance those hormones that we talked about. Only exercise, only exercise on the days that you eat. That I forgot that was in there. That means we really should do something and move every single day. Exertion is the key, especially a few times a week. We really want to exert ourselves. We want to be moving, sweating, panting, actually getting tired. About 30 minutes or more than 30 minutes is a good time frame to shoot for when you're exercising. It really doesn't matter what you do. Do what motivates you. Do what you enjoy. If you like badminton, if you like basketball, if you like going to the gym and lifting weights, if you like walking on a treadmill, if you like walking outside in the park, whatever you like doing, as long as it's moving, it helps you and it will help you rebalance your hormones. So make it a priority. Oh, sorry, I wasn't watching the chat here. Lorraine says lymph doesn't move until you do, and it's necessary for removing toxins and cellular waste. Absolutely, Lorraine. Thank you for adding that. So true. Movement is so important. Okay, so we talked about toxic food choices. We talked about paleo and other how we should start making our proper food choices and eliminating some of the toxic bad things. We talked about how a sedentary lifestyle makes it even worse because now our body can't get rid of that fat. We have a calorie imbalance, we have an energy imbalance. And now let's talk about social stress because this adds to our bodies holding on to fat tissue. Social stress. Cortisol. Cortisol is the hormone that is released when we have chronic psychological stress. We do in our office, we just got done with a mental health workshop. And so when we talk about stress, it affects everything in our body from fat storage to mental health to brain health to function to our cardiovascular system. We want to help our bodies deal with stress. Well, number one, we want to try to de-stress. We can do that. We can try to be less stressed, be around less stressful situations, be around less stressful people. But then also we want to help our body to be able to adapt and deal with the stresses that it has better. That's one area chiropractic helps so much in. It's the reason why we help people even with mental health when they come into our office for chiropractic care, is because chiropractic care helps your body balance its fight or flight. I don't know if you ever heard of the fight or flight system. We call it parasympathetic and sympathetic. It's the stress system in your body. Chiropractic can help your body balance that. And another very, very important factor, highly related with fat storage, but also with stress and how your body deals with it, is sleep deprivation. Okay, we want to make sure our body is getting enough sleep. That's big lie number 5. Sleep's got nothing to do with it. It sure does. In fact, sleep deprivation does several different things. It messes up your cortisol cycle. So your cortisol should cycle in your body every day. It should be high in the morning, and then throughout your day, it should start going down. But most people are so stressed that it doesn't go down. It actually goes up during the day. And then when you have high cortisol at night, you can't fall asleep. You're wide awake. We have unnatural schedules. Some people working at night, some people staying up all night to finish, jobs or things that they have to do that are due the next day. So our schedules throw us off. And then we have such unnatural lighting in our society today. I mean, just, a couple hundred years ago, we didn't even have electrical lights. We had lanterns, or we had fire, and that was it. And so now, in fact, they said that every animal on Earth has their sleep cycle is not one continuous long sleep like humans. Humans will sleep like 6 to 8 hours at night. Well, all those animals, they don't sleep just that one whole sleep cycle. They'll sleep multiple times throughout the day. And up until a couple hundred years ago, humans did that too. In fact, even the Romans, when we kind of started getting civilized and we started having lanterns everywhere and light and jobs and all these schedules, Romans still would schedule what they call sexta, or at noon, you had to take a nap at noon. Then that word sexta was actually the origin of siesta for the Spaniards, where they would have a siesta every day and they would take a nap. And then we had not only electric lights and industrialization, and then schedules where we had to go to work during the day, and then artificial lights that were under all night long. No wonder our hormones are messed up, our sleep schedule is messed up, our stress hormones are going crazy. See, when we're under this unnatural light, it again causes our bodies to prep, like it would be like back in the day when you got out of the cave and it's really bright outside. Your body would increase your appetite so that you would want to go hunt for food. It would increase your cortisol in the mornings, right? So you could run and get away from the saber-toothed tiger, or you could go, capture a gazelle or whatever it was. So then you're craving these carbs. And then it also would increase your insulin, which would cause your body to store fat. And so all the unnatural lighting that we're in, the sleep deprivation that we have, it keeps you from losing weight. So being able to sleep will help you lose weight. In fact, these are the best practices when it comes to sleep. Use your circadian rhythm as a guide. Watch the sun go down. Try to go to sleep when it's dark. Try not to have all the lights on in your house in the evening. Try to get 8 to 9 hours of sleep every night. Make sure that your room is dark, it's quiet, it's cold, or at least cool. We sleep better in the cool, and you're comfortable. Maybe even turn your phone off or your computer off 30 minutes before you go to sleep, and just make it a household culture that we're going to wind down. Things are going to get quiet and calm and dark at night so that we can sleep better at night. And I know what you're saying. Look, I'm telling you to eat more healthy foods, all the vegetables that you could eat. So I have to eat more, sleep more. I get to sleep. I get to eat more. I get to sleep more. Yeah, I can do this. Eat more, sleep more, lose weight when you start doing it like this, when you start doing it the right way. So to put it all together, look, this was in the Journal of the Applied Physiology. Given the ineffectiveness of popular weight loss diets, you could go out there and try to get I can't remember any of the names, the Atkins, the Weight Watchers, all those those yo-yo diets. They're ineffective most of the time, unfortunately. The adoption of a healthy lifestyle, what we're talking about here, a healthy lifestyle where you're focused on some of the things you just learned tonight, is more appropriate for winning the war against chronic disease. I want you to feel better. I want you to be able to have more energy. And yes, when we start doing these things, then we'll start looking better. We'll lose the weight. We'll be a healthy weight. When we live a healthy lifestyle. So these are the 4 things right here. I guarantee if you do more of this, eating better, moving more, sleeping better, and then you add chiropractic to your life, there's no way you won't get back to a healthy body weight. Thank you, Cheryl. Appreciate it. Thank you for being on here, everybody. I want to share our office website here, because if you haven't seen our documentary, A Better Way, you can actually click on that button. There should be a green button that pops up. You can go to our website. You can watch our documentary, A Better Way. You can watch it for free. Also on that website, if you're in the Houston area, you can click on the link to schedule a consultation with us. Feel free to share this workshop. You're going to get an email with the replay. Feel free to share it with anybody that you want, and feel free to share that link with anyone that you want. Thanks so much for being on here tonight. I really appreciate you guys taking the time and being here with me. Judy, hey, how's it going? Thank you so much. Lorene, thanks for being on again. Daniela, thank you so much for being on here. I really appreciate that. That means a lot. Awesome. Everybody, y'all have a wonderful evening. We'll see you soon.